Okay, so we're going to jump right in with the eyeshadow primer. I'm using the Balm Put a Lid on It primer. Just putting that all over my lid, all the way up to the brow bone. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder just to make sure that's set down nicely. And then I'm going into the Anastasia Jackie Aina palette, taking the shade Ginger on a fluffy crease brush and just really blending that into my crease. And then I'm just going to go in and do the same thing on the other eye. And then I'm just going to keep blending until I feel like it's blended enough. This look requires a lot of blending. Okay, I'm going back into that Anastasia palette and I'm taking the shade Edges on a smaller fluffy brush. And I'm going to start working that on my outer corner and then blending it into the crease as well, just not taking it up as high or as far in as the ginger shade that we used first. And notice how I put my brush down first where I was kind of laying down the color, and then I went in once it was mostly all off my brush and blended it out. And then I'm just doing the same thing on the other eye. Again, lots and lots of blending. I applied my foundation and brows before we started, but if you're curious, I used the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation and then the Armani Power Fabric Concealer for my under eyes. And for my brows, I used my Anastasia Brow Wiz and Clear Brow Gel. I'm just going in with a little bit more of that same color to build up the intensity to the amount that I want it to be. And then I'm taking that big fluffy crease brush again with no product on it and just making sure that everything is blended between those two shades. Then I'm taking my sponge here just to make sure everything's blended out nicely on the edges. You can kind of use your sponge like an eraser. Okay, now I'm taking the shade Credit from that same palette on an even smaller blending brush, and I'm really just focusing that on the outer V of my eye. Again, I'm just placing the color down where I want it first, and then I'm going to slowly start blending it into the other shades and into the crease. Let me know if you guys prefer this kind of video. Then I'm just building up the intensity a little bit more on that outer V with the Credit shade. Now I'm going back in with Edges just to make sure that everything is nice and blended. We don't want any harsh lines. We want everything to look like a nice soft gradient on this look. And then I'm doing the same thing with Ginger. Again, just making sure that everything is super blended. We're darkest at the outer corner and closest to the lash line, and then lightest up towards the brow bone. Now I'm going in with this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Game Face, and I'm taking that just with my ring finger all over my empty lid space, mostly focusing it on the center of the lid. The palette that I was using didn't really have a super orange coppery color, and I wanted it to be a little bit more of an orange base. And then I'm just making sure that that is nice and blended into the matte shades that we laid down, especially on the outer corner. Now I'm taking the shade Soleil from the Anastasia palette on a small eyeshadow brush and gonna apply that on the inner part of my lid, blended into that Game Face shade. Now I'm just adding a little bit more of Game Face to make sure that it didn't get all the way blended away. And then I'm taking that fluffy brush with no product on it and sort of just blending over the top of everything. Now I'm going to go in with my Ilia liquid liner and I'm going to start just lining my lash line with this liner, and then I'm going to create a wing. And I'm kind of just taking that liner and like stamping it along my lash line. I feel like that's a really easy way to make a very thin straight line. Okay, so now I'm starting to create that wing. I'm going to pull it up from the outer corner of my eye, and then I'm going to connect it with just a straight line to the center of my lid. Then I'm taking just a little bit of that eyeshadow primer on a small brush to clean up that line a little. I was kind of having a hard time with that liner. I switched to a different one here. Now I'm using the Balm Schwing liquid liner. I love this one. I feel like I can just get a sharper wing with it. Now I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Kohl Iconic Liquid Eye Pencil in Bedroom Black, and I'm just going to tight line with that. So I'm just wiggling it underneath my lashes. Now I'm curling my lashes with my Shiseido Lash Curler. Now I'm going to go in with some falsies. I don't know what brand or where these are from, but they're a really long, super dramatic pair that I have. And I'm just placing that on my lash line, and then I kind of go in and just squeeze them together with my natural lashes. Then I'm going to apply just a little bit of my Lancome Moussier Big Mascara to my natural lashes just to make sure that they're nice and blended into the falsies. Now I'm just blending that ginger shade onto my lower lash line. I'm really smoking it out pretty far. Then I'm going to take the shade Edges and do the same thing, just not blending it down quite as far. Now I'm going to take Credit on a small eyeliner brush and just really stamp that right at my lash line and more on the outer part of the eye. Now I'm going in with that first brush we use and just making sure that everything is nice and blended. And I'm taking that same eyeliner and just lining my waterline. And then I'm just going to apply that same mascara to my lower lashes as well. Okay, going back into Soleil on that small eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to highlight my inner corners and my brow bone with this shade. That is everything for the eyes, so we're going to move on to the face now. I'm taking my Thrive Cosmetics Sun Chaser bronzing powder in the shade EOS, and I'm just going to bronze all over my cheekbones, up into my temples, my forehead, take a little bit on my nose, my chin, and my neck. Now I'm going to go in with some blush. This is the NYX Terracotta blush. I love this color. It's super glowy and like a warm kind of, well, terracotta shade, and I'm just taking that with a fluffy brush. Now I'm going in with a newer highlight for me. This is the Knobless Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder, and I have it in the shade Amnesia. And I'm pretty much just taking that on all the high points of my face. I did my cheekbones, Cupid's bow, bridge of my nose. Then I'm just going in with my sponge to make sure that everything looks nice and blended on the cheeks. So for the first lip option, I'm just going in with a Jordana lip liner in the shade Tawny. It's like a rosy nude, just because I want the lipstick that I'm putting on to have a little bit more color. It's pretty light. And the lipstick that I'm using is the Pat McGrath Donatella. It's a nice light nude. And then I'm just going to top that with the Pat McGrath Lust Lip Gloss in Flesh 4. So this is the finished look with the first lip option. It's a nice nude lip. All right, jumping into the second lip option, it's a bright orange liquid lip from ColourPop in the shade Pacific. This option makes the look a lot more summertime and fun. I love a good orange lip in the summer. I love this color, but the formula is pretty dry, so I'm going to go in and just top this with my Shiseido Clear Lip Gloss. Alright, this is the finished look with the second lip option. I'm just being a goof now. I wanted to make sure you guys could really see what the look looks like. Alright, going in with the third and final lip option. This is another ColourPop lip in the shade Love Bug. It's like a nice kind of brick orange color, really pretty. This is what it looks like with just that lip product, and then I go in with that same Pat McGrath lip gloss on top because I wanted it to be more of a glossy lip. Alright, that's it. Let me know which lip was your favorite.